Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing, Afan? Please let me know about the current state of your assignment activities. Okay, for now, let's start our today's lecture. It's our fifth lecture for Introduction to Computing Mathematics, and we have been dealing with multiple things that are related to computing terms and the mathematical terms that are being used in our computing and there are a lot of other things that we need to understand about computing and mathematical interrelation because when we talk about the mathematical formulas and equations and quotations and each and everything that we use in mathematics, basically it is somehow related to our computing activities as well. So today we will understand the basic mathematical formulas for computing mathematics that are the basic formulas we are being using them in daily activities and also these formulas are being used in computing as well. First, we will explain the use of following within formulas like the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. These are the most common terms, or the you can say that the equations, arithmetic equations of mathematics that we deal with in computing as well. Also, we will explain the functions and equations that used for calculations. We will use algebra to solve computing equations. All these things are related to some practical work. So we will try to understand them one by one with examples so that we can better explain these things. Okay, so let's start with the explanation of the use of these following formulas within our computing terms. We will see them one by one. Addition is in maths is basically a process of combining two or more numbers. We all know addends are the numbers that are being added, and the results or the final answer we get after the process is called the sum. Sum is something which comes after the processing, and it's the final result of our addends that we are being working on or processing on. It is one of the essential mathematical function we use in our everyday activities. There are lots of things that helps us to do so, and there are many situations in which we add numbers. One of the most common everyday use of adding number is when we work with time or money. Like we need to see how many hours we have worked on, so we need to add on the hours that we have worked and compare it with the total number of hours that were needed. So this is something which we deal with on continuous basis. We add on money when we do some work. We add on the money that is coming to us so that we can make a proper record of that money. And for the sake of this thing, we also need to do the sum equation here. For example, adding up the bills and receipts is one of the another use of this sum equation. Although there are lots and lots of uses of this arithmetic solution that we are being using in our computers as well. So, what are the formulas in computer? Formulas are equations that perform calculations on values in your sheet. It's the most common thing. When we talk about Excel, I hope all of you have a better understanding of Excel sheets. So, this is a computer based program in which we use to do a lot of calculations and we perform different kind of functions with the help of formulas in computer and in those Excel sheets when we do addition, we have a syntax to write down the formulas and the equations. All formulas begin with an equal sign, and without that sign, the formula will not be executed as a formula. It will take it as a random text. So you can create a simple formula by using constant and calculation operator. For example, the formula equal 5 plus 2 multiplied 3 multiplies two number and then add a number to the result. It's just that we know the Demar's rule or the Bodmer's rule that we follow. It's basically related to something in which we need to multiply the terms first, then we can add them if we have two um, functions to perform in the same thing. So this is the main thing. Let me know. Is it clear to you guys? Although it's very simple term, but if there is any confusion, you can ask me. Okay, then let's continue. So sum function in Excel, when we do this function, the sum function adds values. You can add individual values, cell references or ranges or a mix of all three. For example, if you want to do the sum between two row and like one row and one column. So what you can do is you can add, or even if you want to do with the sum of two rows or two columns, what you can do, you can simply write down the formula which will start from equal. For addition, we have the formula named as sum. This is the built-in function. That is basically, built-in function is something which is already made in the sheets or in the software or in the program. There are lots of programming applications that we are being using, and all these have some built-in functions that are already defined to the software, so you don't need to define them. Like, you don't need to give Excel a proper statement to add two numbers. Like, you will tell them to first to receive two numbers and then add the do the process of addition and then show the results. You will write down sum and it will automatically do it. So after that, you will add the number of rows and columns. It's basically the number that is given to the specific row and column, and you can simply add the numbers by separating them by the column, and then it will add the values in those cells, like in A2 and A10. It will add the numbers and then show the results to you. Next function is the subtract function. To do simple subtraction, you will use the minus sign, and it's a minus arithmetic operator. For example, if you enter a formula which is equal to, okay, so for the sake of subtract, we use the minus as an arithmetic operator. For example, if you want to enter the formula, what you will do, you will simply add equal, then you will add the number of columns or the rows that you want to do the subtraction for, or the values that you want to do the subtraction for, into a cell, and the cell will automatically display the result. That will be basically the answer, like 5 will be the answer for 10 minus 5, so it will show that in the cell. The next thing is subtract numbers in a range. Adding a negative number is identical to subtracting one number from another. Use of sum function to add negative numbers in a range is a simple way. When you have two minus numbers, then it will automatically add them, because we know the terms of mathematics which says minus and minus will do the plus of two numbers. So it becomes plus. So this negative, like the addition of two negative numbers, will be the results in the positive number. So let's see them by this comparison. Enter the comparison operator equals to, followed by the cell B4, which basically needs to be done, and the minus sign, and the cell A4, press the enter key, and the output is 67. Here from this example, you can see what they have done. They have add the formula here, and it's basically equal to, and then B4, B and 4. Its value is 90. It will add here 90 minus A4, A and 4, which is 23. So 90 minus 23, and its result will be 67. When you will press enter here, it will show the results. So this is the way to put on the formula, and you can easily do the subtraction performed over here. So if you want to do addition here, what you can do, you can simply add the plus sign here, and the results will show the addition and multiplication and division for all of them. It has the same way. You would just need to put on the arithmetic operator that is basically related to the terms that we are being using. Next, we will apply the subtraction Excel formula to the remaining values. Like, it will do the same. Alternatively, drag the formula of C4 till C13, and as shown in the following image. Like, what you can do, if you want to do the subtraction for all of them, rather than doing this for each and every component of it, what you can do, you can simply drag it down and put it here. Like, you can drag this formula, and once you will drag it to all these rows, it will be applied to all of them, and it will work for the C column, which will add all the details related to the fields, like the A5 and B5, A6 and B6, so on. So it will work on all the things and all the terms that we are being discussing here. Next one is multiplication. In mathematics, multiply or times is a mathematical operation that adds a number multiple times. For example, multiply can be represented by an x and or interpunct or an asterisk. So there are three ways to put on multiplication sign over here. For example, with 3 multiply 5 is same as adding the number 3 5 times, and we know the results will be same when we will add the number 3 5 times. It will show the same result as this. So you can do the same as for the add the number 5 for 3 times. The result will also be same. It will show the result 15. With multiplication, the formula numbers are known as factors. Like this are the factors and the answer is known as the product. So these factors will come up to and when we will have the product as the final result. So just let me know if is it clear, or do you have any question, any confusion, you can ask me. So because although these terms are very basic, but when we do them in computers and we need to perform operations with the help of computer, it becomes difficult. So let me know if you have any question or anything unclear. Okay, so let's continue. So to multiply in a spreadsheet program like Microsoft Excel, you can use the asterisk and the cells you want to multiply in a formula like this. Same, the formula is same for all of the terms, but what you need to change is the arithmetic operator that basically works and performs the action. So here we will add asterisk and it will multiply the terms. The next term is the division, and the division formula is used for splitting a number into equal parts. Symbols that we use to indicate division are divide and the slash, the forward slash. The P divided by Q can be written as P divisor sign or P forward slash Q. So both ways are used to explain or define the term of division. We can use them, and in computers we'll use that forward slash as an arithmetic operator for division. And for example, if you type 10 divided by 5 in a cell, the cell displays the answer too. And same as the formula will work with the equal sign. Be sure to type an equal sign in the cell before you type the numbers and the operator. Otherwise, Excel will interpret what you type as a date. So it will add it as like understand it as a date if you will not upload or put equal to sign here. For example, if you type 7 divided by 30, Excel may display 30 July in the cell, or if you type 12 by 36, Excel will first convert that value into 12/1/1936 and so on, and display the date like 1 December in the cell so that it can understand what you are trying to put it as a date. So equal sign is a must here. In if we generally talk about the programming terms, like not only the Excel and the other terms, but if we generally talk about the programming terms, there are some operators that must need to be put on, like after each statement or line in the program, you need to put asterisk, sorry, semicolon there. If you will not put that, it will not interpret it as an statement. Like if you want to put any function or call out a function, you need to put semicolon there. And if it will not be there, it will interpret it as simple text and it will display it on your screen rather than doing the process of that function. So for the sake of this, you need to make sure you are going to put each and everything in detail and with proper examples. Next, we need to explain the functions and equations used for calculations. Functions are pre-designed formulas that save you the time and trouble of creating commonly used or complex equations. Like when you are making the equations for calculations, the formulas are very basic thing to use. You need to have them in hand. Without them, you cannot make your deal with your complex equations. Excel includes hundreds of functions that you can use alone or in combination with other formulas or functions. These functions perform a variety of calculations from adding, overaging, and counting to more complicating tasks, such as calculating the monthly payment amount of a loan, You can enter a function manually if you know its name and all the required arguments, or you can easily insert a function using autocomplete. So there is a proper way in computer programming when we deal with the statements. If you know about the functions and equations that are used for calculations, so the functions are pre-designed formulas that save you like the time and trouble of creating commonly used or complex equations. When you are going to make some equations and all the other stuff, you need to make sure that there are some formulas that are going to help you out, because it's not possible to remember all the formulas and all the terms by yourself. So as a programmer, there are lots of pre-designed ways that helps you out to complete your code, and it helps you to make the equations complex equations very easier. Excel includes hundreds of functions that you can use along or in combination with other formulas or functions, so it's a very good thing. Like, you don't need to create your own functions, you can just simply search for a function and it will be displayed there. So you only need to insert the column names that in which you want to perform the function, and it will be started doing the calculation, like from adding, averaging, or counting to more complicating tasks such as calculating the monthly payment amount of a loan or anything that you want to do. You can simply make a function or choose a function and it will start doing the activities. You can enter a function manually too if you want to add a function by yourself, or it's something really complex and there is no such function there, so you can make your own. And what you need to do is you need to know its name and its all required arguments, and then you can easily insert a function using autocomplete option. It basically helps you to select a function and enter arguments with the correct format. If the format will not be correct, then definitely it will not going to work. So if you want to insert your own function, then you need to know its name and all the arguments that are needed for it to perform that significant concept or work. Let's say an equation says that two things are equal, like x plus 2 is equal to 6. Here it says x plus 2 is equal to 6. It will have an equal sign like this. The equation says what is on the left is equal to what is on the right. So an equation is like a statement, and the like this equal to that is basically a statement which helps us to understand the equation. And what is the relationship between x and y in a function? When we deal with functions, a function from x into y is a basically relationship that associates with each element of x exactly one element of y. However, an element of y may have more than one element of x associated with it. That is for each ordered pair like x comma y. It says that every component of x, or at least one component or element of x, is associated with y, or there is exactly one y value for each x, but there may be multiple x values for each y. So what it says, there is a relationship which says if there is y and x, and we are going to compare them, the values for y, there must be a single value, at least a single value that will be directly related to the y, or for y there could be multiple x values that are related to each, but for each y, there could be one or multiple x values that are basically showing the relationship, like the significant or the same values in a set if we are dealing with the set properties of x and y. So how you can determine if a relationship in a function from an equationship? First, you need to identify the input values, like the values for x and y. Then you need to identify the output values that are basically the expectations. If each input value leads to only one output value, you can classify the relationship as a function. Like, it's a function in which one value led to one output value. So input is having some output, like we have talked about x plus y is equal to 6. Something is equal to something, or some other thing is a kind of function, so we will call the relationship as a function. If any input leads to two or more outputs, you cannot classify the relationship as a function. So when you want to clear it, if there is only one output of any equation or any relationship, then it's a function. Otherwise, it's not a function. So definitely, if it's not a function, it could be an equation or anything else that is related to mathematical terms. And now we are going to use algebra to solve computing equations. Algebra is used in computer programming to develop algorithms and softwares for working with mathematical functions. It's a basically, you can say that a term of mathematics which is used in computing, and we can use it in multiple computer programs, and it helps us to solve the different problems and make the solutions for them. It is also involved in design programs for numerical programs like for example, there are numerical programs in physics as well, which are being solved. And if you want to do those numericals on computers, then definitely you will use algebra terms in computing as well. Computers can handle basic mathematical operation. This is the result of an ingenious mixture of binary numbers, Boolean logic, and electronics, in which we say if one thing is connected, then one thing or one switch is connected, it turns on, otherwise it turns off. So Boolean logic is something is between yes or no. If it's happening, it's yes. If it's not happening, it's no. There is no other or no in between option in those relationships. And binary numbers are also the 0 and 1 logic. So all these terms are basically related to only two options like 0 and 1, true or false, or on and off. So there are only two options in all these three mixtures. So what we can do, we can use them in our computing mixtures, and thanks to this framework, a computer can handle without breaking a suite two groups of operations. So you can easily do them. Arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, square root, logical operations, not, or, and. These are basically the logical operations that are being used in computings as well. We will discuss them in the further lectures where this topic is totally related to the logical operations. Then we will discuss them in more detail. But for now, let me tell you, this is a relationship or an operation which is basically related to the numbers, and it helps us to understand which one is like if there are two options, it will let you know which one is going to turn on and which one is going to turn off, and in what situation and what are the consequences in which it will turn on, otherwise it will be turned off. As we have seen, these operations can be carried out through built-in circuits, like in a sense, when you program your computer by typing a code, say you can say in Python. Python is a programming language, and it helps you to making amendments to the those or you who like the old one like C++. It's something when we talk about the programming languages, each newer programming language or newer technology in programming languages is you can say that a subset of the previous ones. So the old man C++ is the main programming language that was being used for a lot of time by the programmers, and even there are lots of programmers that are still using the C++ as a programming language for their application development. And now if they are going to use Python, let's say, so there are lots of terms that are similar in both. So you can tell the machine what circuits do what and in what order. Basically, it's all is done with the help of code. You can write the code and you can prioritize the circuits, which circuit will turn on and at which time and what will be the order for all of them, and it doesn't complain. So try to be kind to your computer and don't ask the impossible like a division by zero kind of things, because it will definitely be not the worth it questions for your computer. So how do you use algebra to solve the problems? You can define the variable, write the equation, solve the equation. Then if the variable is not the answer to the word problem, what you can do, you can use the variable to calculate the answer. So it's a general way to solve an algebraic problem in which we have defined all the terms and goals with proper definition of equation and the variables and all the components of it. So this is all about our today's lecture. Let me know if you have any question. Okay, Afan, then I'll see you in the next class. Till then, take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.